Hi everyone, it's Jeff here again with you, making a second video today. And this is actually going to be a bonus material video for the one that I made for a contest entry to Andy's Vinyl Den's comic book contest. Also, to correct a mistake that I made in that original video. Usually when I make these videos, I usually watch them back before I upload them, just to make sure that everything is okay, that the phone didn't act up or something weird didn't happen, that everything looks normal. And then I upload it. Well, when I made the video for the contest entry, I didn't have time to watch it back because it was kind of a longish video. I just uploaded it without watching it first. And then after it was already on YouTube, I got a comment, which is true, saying that I didn't actually say what my favorite series was, which is true. And so it was just a brain cramp. That's all I can say. I thought I said it while I was on camera. Sometimes that happens. You forget if you say things or not, or sometimes you say things you wish you didn't say. That hasn't happened to me too often, hopefully. And so I just want to keep everything on the up and up, just to make sure that I've followed the rules of the contest while the contest is still open. So just so nobody starts barking in case I win, saying, hey, he didn't do everything for the contest that he was supposed to. So we're going to avoid all that. What I meant to say when I said, like, my favorite male hero was Captain America, my favorite artist was Jack Kirby, I thought I said that that was my favorite series as well. So, excuse me. This is another Marvel Masterworks of the Golden Age Captain America, featuring, the iconic cover of Captain America #1, with him punching Hitler in the face. Great book. I thought I had said that when I said all those other things. I guess I was trying to answer too many questions at the same time with the same answer. I hope that's okay too. But I've mentioned this before, throughout the years, Cap has generally been my favorite series just because I like the character. He's interesting, he's a stand-up guy. He always does what's right. But he's not Superman, he's not super powerful. He's just strong. He's just super strong. He can be beat, without funky reason. And my like of Cap really stretches across the decades because you have this. And these Marvel Masterworks, like I said, are invaluable in providing access to material I otherwise would never get a chance to read. And, so you've got Cap in the 40s. He actually continued on into the 50s briefly. And then in the 60s, he got brought back by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in Avengers #4, famously. They found him in the ice. He was frozen in suspended animation, which was their way of explaining how Cap made it to the modern day of the 60s back then without aging since World War II. So you had the whole man out of time aspect to it for a long stretch. And then there have been a number of really classic runs on that book. Lee and Kirby gave Cap a solo title in Tales of Suspense, which I mentioned before. When he got his full-length solo title in 1968, Kirby drew like the first dozen or so issues, and they're fantastic. And after he left, Gene Colan did a very long stretch drawing the book with Stan Lee writing. And then later in the 70s, you had Steve Englehart, who wrote a very long, very famous run on Cap. And it got almost kind of political because he brought, the not Nixon by name, but the president and into the storyline. We had a guy running around dressed as Cap, was also super powerful. You know, he's kind of like the Cap from the 1950s. I know this isn't going to make sense to anyone who's never read the stuff before. But besides Englehart, Roger Stern and John Byrne did a very short but memorable run on Cap. And even into the 2000s, Ed Brubaker, which I think I've mentioned before, did a very long and a very fantastic run on Cap into the 2010s, where he actually killed Cap or Steve Rogers, I should say. And unlike any other title, probably except with the exception of Superman, Cap stayed dead for over a year, and it was pretty interesting how he handled that. But I thought it was done really well. So, just to keep everything on the up and up, my favorite series is Captain America. So all the questions have been thoroughly answered by now. As I showed in that video, it kind of ran long, so I didn't really want to spend any more time because I don't really like making super long videos. You know, and I was already over 20 minutes. Inside this folder that I showed for the contest, I had a Marvel value stamp book. I don't think it's supposed to be colored. It looks like somebody colored this in. The good thing about this is, here, I'll just show you. I'm just going to show you these pages fairly quickly because there's 100 stamps in this book, and that means that 100 comic books were defaced, so this book could be complete. So I like having this. It's a cool thing from like the 70s to have, but it makes me kind of cringe because I bought this off of eBay years and years ago, and it was complete except for, I think the only one it was missing was this one here, the werewolf. Now, if this happened today, if they released a Marvel value stamp today, you could easily not have to deface the book. Actually, Marvel restarted the value stamp program right before I dropped New Comics, and they inserted them in a little card in the middle of the book that you could just tear out without cutting up the page in the actual comic. What I did, and what I'm sure if people had it in the 70s, was I had a comic that had this value stamp, and I just made a color copy of it, and then I cut that out and put it in. So it's a little bit of a cheat. I mean, it kind of looks, you know, the same yellowish color from the newsprint paper, but yeah. So as you can see, there's 100 different Marvel characters, all from the 70s, and just show you quickly all these pages. Some of these pictures are really, really nice. I think some of them were drawn exclusively for the stamp. Others were taken from already existing material. Show you here very quickly, just so you can see all of the characters. And while I'm doing this, what you got with a full stamp book is, I think you got a certain percentage off of like Marvel merchandise if you ordered it. And I think if you took it to a convention, it gave you a bonus at a comic book convention, but none of that was filled in here. I think I'd have to look up what you actually got, but other than having a stamp book that was filled. And like I said, these are all cool. I have many of these comics from the 70s with the stamp intact in them. They also, all right, here's the last page. And yes, this is the 100th stamp of Galactus. That was included in the book. You can see. Yeah, cool thing to have. Marvel actually did a second series of value stamps, but they were puzzles. They were puzzle pieces. They weren't just character shots. And I don't have a book of that, but I've got many comics where you've got a puzzle piece there. So, like I said, it's cool. It's cool to have as kind of a souvenir from that era, but it still makes me cringe because the thought that all of these comics, except for one, all these stamps except for one, came out of an actual comic book. So, and then I'm sure there were hundreds and hundreds of these that were filled. I mean, and the problem is there were some key issues in the 70s that if the stamp is removed, it really kills the value of the book. Like Hulk 181, I know is a value stamp book. And if the value stamp's missing, the value goes way down. I have a few comics where the stamp is missing, and I have others where the stamp is intact. But that's just the way it goes. So I just wanted to show that to you quickly because I didn't have time really to do it then. And then the other thing, which I know Linda Legg showed interest in, were these Wacky Package stickers that I had, that I showed. And these are from 1979, and these are the Series 1 set of stickers. And a lot of in fact, all of these are uncut. They're all uncut sheets. So, you can see, I'll just try to show some of these quickly. And on the back, you can see they had the checklists for the series, for those who liked to keep track of those things. Some of these products aren't even around anymore. like Contac, I think was like a cold pill. I don't even know if that's around anymore. This sheet also had the checklist on them. And then for the rest of these, on the back were puzzles pieces. So this was what you got when you had all of the puzzle pieces. You got a picture of this product, and it's the same on all the rest of these sheets. Is this picture here? So this is the. I'll just hold it here, and if you want to take a closer look, I guess you can just pause the video and look. So very quickly, Gadzuka on the back. You got this on the front. Move my fingers out of the way here. A buddy of mine gave me this set probably 15 or so years ago. Here's a smaller picture of what's on the back. And I kind of sort of collected these. I mean, these and the Garbage Pail Kids kind of fell into that same category. I was young enough to have this really tickle my fancy because a lot of these are really funny if you look at them, and the artwork on them is pretty intricate when you actually look at the pictures and you see how they were drawn. But yeah, and then there's that, and then the last one here. It was just something cool. I don't know if these are worth anything. I don't know if uncut sheets are worth anything. But I just like them. They're cool to have. It's kind of a remnant of my childhood. I collected these a little, not so much as I did Star Wars trading cards, but they're cool. I like them. So I just wanted to show those very quickly, like I said, as bonus material for the contest. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back next time with records, hopefully. And until then, take care. This is Jeff, and I'll see you.